Aloha mai kākou. My name is Bryan Tolentino, and we are here on behalf of the Hawaiian Music Archives. Kuleana to our kupuna and our keiki. We have an exciting show for you today. We're talking about Kanileʻa ʻUkulele, and we have the family of Kanileʻa. We have Joe Souza, Kristen Souza, their son Kaimana Souza. So we'll be talking about, how the business was started, where they're going, what the future lies, what they're doing now. So, Joe Souza, aloha.
Oh, aloha mai.
So how did Kanileʻa start? I mean, the beginnings.
I guess Kanileʻa was always in the thought with music because growing up in a music family, we're surrounded by music all the time. And learning as a young ukulele player on how much the ukulele can bring joy to your life.
Of course.
And learning that early on to then feed this young inquisitive mind. How does an ukulele work? How does it play? How does it make a note? How does it function? And that really drove to learning and seeking, the experts that I knew of. So Uncle Peter Bermudez, who I first bought my first tenor ukulele from, graciously offered, hey, if I'd like to learn how to build an ukulele, come, join me. And so I did. And the love for the instrument then just got fueled from him with our love for music, kanikapila, to creativeness and creating the space to allow for the creativeness. For example, the first ukulele that I built with him entirely on my own was what we would call a super concert, which is basically a concert body with a tenor scale. And the reason why is because I played a concert for years. I loved the sound of a concert, but I wanted the playability of a tenor. And the thing that Uncle Pete did do was he didn't create a box in that case. He said, sure, shoots, we try. Never did it before, we go figure them out. And that space or that ability to allow for creativeness function then allowed for creativeness to today. And the ability to kind of think outside of the box and the ability to create something that in many ways has never been created.
Unique and different.
Yeah. And that was really the nexus of the beginning of Kanileʻa. But interestingly enough, when I first started building ukulele, and it was just basically Kristen and I, Kaimana was 3 years old, running around the shop, it was hoʻokani. That was the name of our ukulele. And in my mind, I thought, well, that makes sense to make sound, hoʻokani. But then as we started to grow as a young builder and as a young company, and, of course, taking on our first apprentice, which in turn changed things because it wasn't no longer just me touching the ukulele now. Now we have someone else with, shared passion. And in that, Alistair McNeil, who was really my first apprentice, Alistair and I decided, early on that we're going to continue on that thought of not creating a box, creating things that are unique and one of a kind. And at that point, of course, Kristen and I decided we were going to change our name, change the name of our company, and that's where Kanileʻa made sense. Yeah, it showed the world, in this case now, what Kanileʻa means, and the joy that ukulele can bring to people's lives.
That connection.
Yeah.
As we were talking earlier, my earliest recollection of, was it hoʻokani back then?
No, it was Kanileʻa.
It was Kanileʻa. It was at an Easy Music swap meet, and I met you there, and you were selling 4 or 5 ukuleles or whatever it was.
Right.
But then I remember that because you were a fireman at that time, so you weren't really full-time building ukuleles.
Yeah.
That was just a passion that you had, and you were selling it. And then when the company came out, I went, hey, wait, that's Joe, the guy I remember from that Easy Music.
Yeah.
That was about, what, late
1990s, 2000? I kind of dated it, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Because we were Kanileʻa at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, so, thinking back, even kind of dating this
25
25 years ago, right?
Yeah,
to
yeah.
today, right? But, with even then, the ukuleles were different. They weren't like other ukulele that were out there. And I think primarily it was one, yes, the creativeness and the ability to start with pretty much like a blank canvas, right, on every instrument. But then it also helped me as a builder to kind of hone the skills that it took to do some of the inlay work and some of the out-of-the-box concepts that were now making their way to the ukulele, which in turn, to today, I mean, that is still a solid pillar in Kanileʻa, the ability to then be creative, and change is inevitable, acceptable. In fact, it's promoted, right?
What I see with successful luthiers is they come from a music background. They're not just furniture makers who decide to build instruments, but you have an ear for that. So I'm sure that plays into what you build because you're listening for that joyful sound. That's why, right?
Right. And in that, sound is so subjective, right? How do you put words to sound? Yeah, it's like taste. Some people like spicy, some people like sweet, savory. And in this case, designing an ukulele from a player's point of view that had the functionality that a player would need, the comfort, the feel, the sound, of course. But, the sound, again, being so subjective, it's like, okay, well, is it an all-coil body sound that I like? Or is it a coil with spruce, coil with cedar? We have these combinations that are in front of us. But ultimately, it's how does the instrument feel? How does it play? The action. Position markers in the positions that you as a player would look for them. Things that are part of the functionality of the instrument that really help with, ultimately, the player's experience.
Okay, so that was the beginning of Kanileʻa. But you guys also went to connect the Hawaiian-ness to the original so-called makers of the ukulele, right, in Portugal. Yeah. So you guys traveled too?
We did, and that was a beautiful chapter to then experience the 140th anniversary of when the Raven Scrag set sail from Madeira. And when we went as a family, it was Kristen, Kaimana, Ilkepa, Kahiao, as a family sharing ukulele and mele, the sound that comes from the ukulele that was so unique to Hawaii, but beyond that was so unique to the world. In so many ways, when we were there, many of the ukulele / Brigueña, Rajao, Cavaquinho, Machete de Braga, all these instruments that are kind of like the ancestor to the ukulele, they play it differently because it's the style of music that they play on it, right? In comparison to us, where growing up, it was when you play, you sing. When you sing, you play, and it was this different vibe, I guess, that we brought, which in turn, we got to share the mele. We got to go to literally the church that my grandmother, the boy's great-grandmother, was baptized at, at like 2 years old.
Talk about connecting dots, man.
It was crazy. Chicken skin. We're walking on the cobblestone path, and it's not a road, that this is where she walked, and this is where she went, and this is the church that she attended. And it was cute. It was very quaint, maybe 20 people max kind. This is the life that she lived and literally got transplanted. And in many ways, in a good transplant, comes to Hawaii and brings culture with them that just melted right into today is what would be considered Hawaiian culture, in many ways. When people come to Hawaii, you got to go eat Leonard's malasada, you got to go have bean soup, or you got to go, experience that, right? Even McDonald's, they get Portuguese sausage, eggs, and rice, things like that.
Somebody has to teach him how to fry Portuguese sausage,
Proper.
Gotta be a little bit papa'a.
Yeah.
Right? Just a little bit.
Right. It's crispy.
Anyway.
But, you know, I mean, these things that they offered to the world outside of ukulele. And respectfully, they didn't really understand the fact that the ukulele and the ancestor to the ukulele was from there. Because they all led on musically to, you know, woodwinds and other, you know, brass and string instruments, yes, but not necessarily in the same way that we, of course, connect with the ukulele, especially here in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
So sharing that fact like, hey, the ancestor to the ukulele is from Madeira. It traveled literally halfway around the world from one rock in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean to another rock in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and had this huge effect on a global level to the world, you know, 140 years later. And then, you know, in 2029, we'll be celebrating the 150th anniversary to the fact that the ukulele and the joy that it brings to so many people's lives across the world is a Portuguese, you know, connection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the Hawaiianness, of course. So going there and performing on a wonderful stage on a beautiful night with music from all over the world. You know, there is a gentleman from the Canary Islands who just shreds the ukulele. I mean, he was awesome on his, you know, rajao.
Five-string, yeah?
Yeah, five-string, yeah. To, you know, getting to, here's the Hawaiian component is us, and then singing, "Wamo ke o kaina," you know, and sharing with them, this is our mele. This is the words that our ancestors spoke, that they played on the ukulele, and now sharing it with the world, right? And it was beautiful. You know, it was a beautiful moment for the boys to share. I mean, they immediately connected with us on so many levels, you know, the local newspaper to the local news, to the international news showing up and saying, hey, here are the Hawaiians, and this is what they're doing with this instrument all over the world, right? And it was wonderful, you know, having Kaimana actually jumped on bass, you know, from ukulele to guitar to bass, you know, any string instrument he'd jump on to Iokepa, Kahiao, you know, playing our guitar lele, and Iokepa, I think, played like a 5-string, and I was playing an 8-string, and Kristen was sharing hula, you know, I mean, it was like all of this and who we are.
How long ago was this? How old were you guys?
It was in 2019. So
Oh, fairly recent then.
yeah, pretty recent. 2019.
6 years,
Right.
you know.
And you know, it's one thing I share across the world when we go and visit, because many times the questions, and being kind of as broad as they may come, like, why, Joe, why do you think the ukulele is so popular today? And I share it lovingly, which is truth, right? It's, there's a golden thread that binds us all. And the ukulele just so happens to be that thread.
Yeah.
And it brings good people together. And that's the truth. That's what it boils down to.
Oh, so we were just in Canada sharing the love of the ukulele for the Langley Ukulele Festival, the first annual. And like you said, it's gone all over the world. And we're sharing our love, right, for the ukulele. And we can all be in the same place at the same time, which I thought was cool.
Right.
You
And
know?
then you say, hey, Joe, because I was over there just strumming with you guys. You know, your guys said,
Oh,
come.
no. So it's like, and this is what we do at Kanikapilas. If I know somebody's out there who plays, I'll say, Ipra, come play. Or, Kristen, come dance a hula. Or, that's just how we do it.
Right.
And the people there, they don't expect that. It's like, nah, let's come, you guys. We just, and it's all about sharing the love that we all have. Like you said, that golden thread. And that was a perfect example of that thread.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody does it. I mean, I love to do that though.
I think there's even ukulele festivals all over the world. Every single weekend, there's some type of ukulele event.
Oh, let's go.
Yes, it's unbelievable how much people really embrace the instrument and want to be a part of Hawaii because of the culture and what we really truly love. And I love it.
Because it's not just an instrument. We're bringing culture. That's what it is. We're bringing this with us. We're not bringing all the analytical stuff all the time, right? Like at the workshop. No, we are, the ukulele is our first culture. It's part of us. So when we go out, we share that part of this through the ukulele, the mele, the hula, and and it comes across.
Yeah.
I hear this all the time. I don't know what you're singing about, but I feel something.
Right.
Because we carry that ike kupuna. It's not just, it comes from the beginnings. Everything that we do playing the ukulele comes from that beginning. We carry that. It's not a burden, but we carry that with us.
And that's so true, you know. And when we were there in Canada, in Langley, you know, when you called me up, you said, "Hey, Joe, come play." You know, and I think, "Oh, what song you guys are? Oh, you guys are just in key of G. Okay, we're going key of G. You know, as organic as that is, and we're going to sing Kana'i Aupuni. You know, we're going to sing one mele that we would sing
Right.
at any
In
kanikapila.
somebody's living room or the kitchen or whatever, yeah.
And then, you know, someone came up after and they're like, you know, what was that song? And, you know, more inquisitive, right? Because they don't know what we're saying.
Right.
But, you know, I told them, you know, that here's a mele that you would hear at any kanikapila and something that we would share with the world.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
And
love
that
that.
same trip that we went on to Madeira, after Madeira, we went to Manchester to play music, dance hula, and sing. And then we went to Berlin after that. So we went to 3 major cities in Europe to play and sing
I love that, man.
and share the culture. So
love that.
same trip, we were gone for a long time, but it was awesome. It was an eye-opener for us as the 3 sons. I had been in the company for 6 years already, but Iokepa and Kahiao, they were in like their first or second year, full-time, out of school, working.
Just sticking your toe in a pool.
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
But, you know, it became a pivot. It became that turning point for us, for them especially, to see like, these are the things that my parents been doing kind of for a long time at this point, you know, like going out sharing, and they actually kind of do pretty good at it, you know.
That's the connection that
Right.
I think all Hawaii artists, when they travel abroad, you know, I tell the young guns, I said, you know, it's not good enough saying that you're from Hawaii. You have to bring Hawaii with you.
Right.
You know, what makes us unique, and it's that love of playing. You know, sharing aloha, and it comes across.
Oh, yeah.
It really comes across. I see people, and you guys know this, they get emotional when they hear Hawaiian music or see us playing ukulele or dancing hula, because that doesn't happen for them. But for us, it's like every weekend, it's like we had a paina, a baby party or something. And that's what happens. And that's just part of our way of life, our culture. You know, and I love that. I love that golden thread.
Right.
I wouldn't
And
use
you know,
that.
it's genuine. No use on use on it's truth, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
truth.
is. It is.
And the ukulele was what brought us together in many ways.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the instrument that created friendships. And, you know, we even see that abroad where, you know, ukulele clubs where they come together, kanikapila, you know,
I love that.
Beatles, whatever their favorite music is,
Yeah.
right? And then in that, they create friendships off of that. Ukulele, come together, jam.
Those cultures are so welcoming
Right.
anywhere in the world.
And it's actually what is keeping our entire family, the 3 boys, mom, dad, their wives, our grandson, all so closely knit. We get to work with each other, and that in itself
always a good
is a
thing, but yeah, I
blessing.
know.
It's wonderful, and you know, we were just talking how we're still getting together for Thanksgiving coming up in a week, and Christmas, and it's like we can't get enough of each other. But then at the same time at work, we're building each other, we're building together, and that to me is that's so special.
That's
and
true family business.
True family business. All 3 of them are 100% vested, and I'll never forget when they all started. This was maybe 6-7 years ago. We had our meetings, our level 10 it's called. It's a business meeting, and the kids would always say, "Mom, Dad, we need titles. We need to know, like, what's our job? What are we doing today, and what do we want to do?" And we're like, "Well, what do you want to do?" They're like, "No, you need to tell us. This is important. You know, we need to have structure, and we have to have a president and all this." And we said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And they're like, "You're not listening to us." And we said, "Okay, well, where do you want to go today?" "Okay, I'll go into..." Kaimana started in manufacturing, which he did fantastic at. And then he dabbled in that. And then he found interest in sales and marketing, and just obviously took off. Like, it's the most, I would say, the strongest sales and marketing in the world. Like his mind just works like that. But we never told them where to go. Then Kahiao, Mom, what do you want me to do? What do you want to do? We never gave them that specific direction. We let them follow their heart and their passion. And now Kahiao's running the production and taking us to a whole nother level. Kepa, same thing. What do you want me to do? What do you want to do? And he found interest in the international sales side in my job, which is HR and accounting. And so now he's running all of that side of the business. So we got the whole umbrella and just allowing them to find the passion which was created by this instrument.
You know, you may fall down, but you got to get back up. And okay, that didn't work, but how can I make it better? Right? That works. But how can we make this better? And that's just the whole process, right? That's just the whole.
And, you know, even on Kristen's note here and I'll never forget this. There was actually at Uncle Sam Kamaka's celebration of life, his funeral, when we were at St. Anne's, our home church, you know, where we go to church.
Yeah.
You were there.
And Kathy and
Your
Roy.
mom was there.
Yeah, Mom was there.
I remember.
Yeah. Kathy and Roy Sakuma asked Kristen and I, how did we get our children? Because they were looking at succession, you know, in the Roy Sakuma studio. How did we get our children to join our company? And Kristen's answer was so beautiful. I'm going to just summarize it real quickly, where she said, when they were growing up, we told them, go to school, get good grades, be good citizens, look for ways to help others, and be a kid. If kids surf, go boogie board, go beach. The gang going hiking, go hiking.
I want to do that now.
Well, you know, we didn't drag them to the ukulele festival, or we didn't drag them to the ukulele event saying, oh, you guys gotta come work the booth, or you gotta come do this. Kristen made sure that they got to choose what they want to do from a young age in that way. And in that creating, you know, young leaders, what the road led them to, all three of them joining Kanileʻa, which from a parent's point of view, oh my gosh, there's nothing more we could ask for.
Right.
That's our prayers being answered, having them being able to go to work and every morning greeting my son, who is the director of sales and marketing, right? Or greeting our other son, who's making sure that the lights are turned on, the bills are getting paid, payroll is happening, right? Or then, you know, spending time with Kahiao and watching him blossom into a young leader. You know, he and I coined this kind of term, I think, where he doesn't demand respect, he commands respect. The way that he does things. And even like for Kaimana, and again, this isn't my coined term, but Kaimana, he's a shrewd businessman. When you look up the term, he makes sound decisions, things that are going to benefit the customer, things that are going to benefit the company, you know, being proper in that way and being guided at times, but most of the time they fly. They do what they do and they do it very well.
Wow. They've been gone for 3 weeks.
Right. Planting.
More than that.
And they still work full time or?
No.
Well, it depends. You know, I mean, we have 12-hour days.
Work is
different
subjective.
Different things.
Right. So I mean,
in Kanileʻa, no.
Yeah.
But in saving Hawaii's forests,
Yes.
mostly, yes.
But you know, I mean, even leading up to that, like how Kaimana pointed out, saving Hawaii's forests, which then in turn became a passion. And I've had people ask this, where, and I say this lovingly, the ukulele was a vehicle for us to really fulfill something that was beyond something we could ever imagine, or something that we could ever think we would be doing, you know, when we look back 30 years ago. And you know, it's obviously a passion. Anyone who experiences what we're doing there can see the passion. And I think Kristen, you know, shares it so beautifully as far as what we're doing there.
Yeah, so can you talk more about the reforestation and how Kanileʻa is involved with that?
Sure. So back in reverse. When Joe was in what was the name of the falsetto contest?
Kaleo Ki'e.
Was in the falsetto contest. He actually won first place. It was beautiful. Kaimana, Joe, and I were there. The two boys weren't born yet. He won a trip to Oahu. And we're like, well, we live on Oahu. Could we go to, it was Kauai.
Kauai. Mm-hmm.
They said, of course. So the three of us took a trip to Kauai. We were driving around beautiful mountain ranges, and we stopped up overlooking this pasture. And we thought, wow, look at this. We could plant koa trees here and help bring back the forest. And this was back in 95?
95, yeah.
95?
No.
Kaimana was,
96.
96,
Yep,
because
96.
Kaimana was 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all we talked about. We just kind of planted that seed, put it out into the universe.
No pun intended, but yeah.
Yeah, no pun intended. And life went on. The kids went to school, and we were starting to build a business. And in 2014, I was sitting on the couch. Joe was at work. It was a Saturday, and I heard a voice in my head. Not a bad voice, but I attribute this voice to being definitely Keakua. God had put me in a place to hear him say, look for property on the Big Island. I was like, okay. So I looked it up, and I found a parcel, 85 acres. I called Joe. I'm like, babe, there's a property. Do you want to go look? He's like, sure. So we have no discussion since 1996 about this. And I called my auntie, and she's like, she's a realtor, and I said, there's this property. What do you think? She said, oh, let me look into it. She goes, oh, it just went on the market yesterday. And I was like, really? Okay. Joe, do you want to go look? Sure. So we booked our flight. This is a matter of an hour. It's crazy how it all worked out. And we got on the flight the next day, Sunday. The selling realtor picked us up, took us to the mountain up in Kealakekua area. And I have no idea where I'm going. I didn't do any research. So I go in t-shirt and shorts, and I have some tennis shoes on. Well, we're driving up, it's called Hokukano Ranch, and it's just beautiful. There's cows and horses and sheep and llamas and buffalo, and we're driving up this path, and I'm taking pictures. And he says, well, there's this parcel here, and we're going to drive through, and we keep going. We get to the 5,000-foot elevation, and he's like, this is the parcel. And I was like, oh, my gosh. No, it's all rocks. I don't like it. And Joe's like, hey, patience. We need to be patient. The realtor's showing us the property. I go, I want to go look at this other one. Well, the clouds roll in. I'm soaked. He falls. He's bloody. Come to find out, we don't buy that property. We buy a 96-acre parcel after being lost in Hawaii on a mountain. And that was the beginning of planting. We found the most beautiful parcel. Kaimana went with us the next day after being lost on the mountain. And the next thing we knew, we were offering to buy a property on Monday. And then they said, okay, we'll accept your offer. And we're like, okay, now what? What do we do? I've never planted.
Now we plan.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how to plant a tree or anything. All I did was in 7th grade at Kailua Intermediate, I did my study on how plants respond to different types of music. And so that was my planting experience. And next thing you knew, we were putting up fencing and a greenhouse and started planting our first 10,000 trees in 2017. Wow. It was all koa to create a canopy. And then after the canopy was established, we were then now able to come in and do the understory. So that's what we do. We do different koa parcels. We separate 10 acres and we do site prep and figure out what species belong at the 4,000-foot elevation. And we actually ordered the trees now because we're in the 67,000 planted. I can't possibly grow all those in the greenhouse. So we order the plants usually in 10,000 bunches. And right this past 2 weekends ago, we planted 2,000 trees. Kaimana was there for that. We did 1,000 iliahi, which is sandalwood, 900. Oh, are those sandalwood seeds?
Oh,
they're edible. Did you
beautiful.
know that? In the beginning, they're edible. Yes. And so just we're planting these trees no matter what business we were in, and they're not intended to be harvested. We're planting a full biodiverse forest. It's for habitat. And
That's awesome,
we've seen the birds returning they're so loud and beautiful, and it's like heaven on earth. You know, we've watched the keiki go from when we put them in as a seedling of 12 inches. Now we have trees towering about 40 feet in the last 8 years. Koa grows very fast, straight
But
up.
it goes straight up, right?
Straight up, and then it kind of gets to a peak, and then as time goes on, it starts to fill in, and that's why they shoot up so fast. And then the other species, that's a tough word, they take a little longer, like mamaki, pilo, hoava, ilima. We've planted maile. We're trying to really focus on maile as a lei plant. There's no intention of harvesting these trees, so they are just spread out in a natural area. Depending on the type of tree, if it's a canopy tree, we'll put maybe 20 feet apart, or when we do smaller, like a'ali'i, it's maybe 5 feet on center. And we lay out the grid, we get rid of all the invasives, which is the hardest part, believe it or not. We have Himalayan raspberry, Mysore, banana polka, fireweed, just different species that
That's such a beautiful story, man. Mahalo nui for sharing that and doing that.
Thank you. And you know what's really cool is this isn't just a Souza thing. It's anytime someone purchases a Kanileʻa or an islander ukulele or our guitar, they're actually helping to plant, because our goal is to plant a tree for every instrument that we sell. And
that's an amazing thing.
And that will, so it's a kako thing. It's not just us. It's all of us, and we love to give that. We love to give that opportunity to everyone, because not everyone can get out and plant a tree, and this way we're helping the world one tree at a time.
And you know, creating a safe space for Hawaiians to be Hawaiian. That's what we love about it, really, where we can go and we can be and do what we do.
Mahalo to you guys for doing that. We all appreciate what you guys are doing.
Small kind.
So Kaimana, tell me about the building process that you guys utilize, because you know it wasn't just all trial and error, right?
Right.
Well, in the beginning probably was.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing stuff. So what is the building process that you guys?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. I started in production in 2013. My first job was in the assembly department, working with the crew, you know, reporting to Dad, and we had a manager at the time who introduced the manager, that is, he came from Sony Manufacturing.
Wow.
And he introduced us to Lean, and it was very introductory.
How you spell that? Sorry.
Lean.
Well, like
lean meat.
Yeah.
Lean manufacturing.
LIEN.
Lean on the house.
Yeah.
Lean, like lean meat, and that's really the whole idea, is you don't want excess fat, you don't want excess waste in the production facility.
Super efficient then.
Try to be. So I was introduced to it in 2013, and you know, I came in with a lot of great standards already in place. It can be summed down to the elimination of waste through continuous improvement.
Wow, that's cool.
So every week, somebody or every person is responsible for one improvement. And when we first heard about Lean, they teach to reduce your work time by half. You got to cut it in half, and then you'll be good. It's like, okay, well, when you try to think about that, how do I cut it in half? That's so much to think about. It becomes overwhelming. Toyota looks at it, and a few other guys, there's these gurus out there who know what they're doing. They look at it and say, just save 2 seconds today, save 2 seconds tomorrow, save 2 seconds every single day. Say, okay, 2 seconds, I can do that. Instead of reaching this far, I can just go right here and grab something. 2 seconds is much more manageable than saying cut it in half.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so over the last 3 years, we've more than cut it in half.
Wow.
We've thirds it.
I know what you meant.
You know, and we make a better quality instrument. We don't have defects. We don't have instruments laying around with holes in them, you know, just we make a better product faster for less. And again, that's all thanks to Kahiao, what he's done on his own time to research and learn, and then share that with us as a team every morning. Every morning we get a lesson. That's why we were a little late today. Our lesson ran a little long.
Wow, that's kind of cool though. That's exciting. I
It
should
is.
incorporate
It's fun.
that into my playing.
We have a WhatsApp. The whole company shares a WhatsApp group chat, and you send your video. You record your improvements because that's part of sharing, learning. If someone in the sales team does something with their paperwork, just as an example, someone in the production team sees that and says, "Oh, I can implement something like that in mine." And so we're all inspiring each other to do things.
So the thought process is one in the company.
Yeah.
So you're all looking for saving 2 seconds.
Yep.
I mean, in the short
Yeah.
term, right?
Yeah, if there's 20 of us saving 2 seconds every day,
Yeah.
you know, we're saving 40 seconds a day in 1 year, and that's the minimum.
Right.
Kahiao and one of our other gentlemen, Seth, they just implemented something that saves 2 hours a day.
Wow.
2 seconds is just kind of the minimum
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
process. But yeah, I mean, in 3 years, we've cut it from about 30 days to 8 days. An improvement is not allowed to take place if safety or quality are at a
Compromised.
detriment. Yeah,
Yeah.
compromised.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Safety and
perfect sense.
quality need to either stay the same or get better for that improvement to take place. Toyota Way.
The Toyota way.
There's a
See,
couple
now
books actually.
I can look into that. That's cool because you can apply that to anything in
Absolutely.
life. In anything in life.
I'm glad you mentioned that. In our WhatsApp, I'd say everybody has to do an improvement a week. It counts at home too.
Yeah.
So if you don't do one at work that week, you can do one at home, and that counts toward your streak.
Oh, yeah.
We all have streaks for how many consecutive weeks. I think this morning I hit 61 weeks
Yep.
every week.
He'll always be above you.
Yeah. I expect it.
That's
That's
the
our
competition.
prayer
Yeah,
answer,
yeah,
you know, to have our children excel past, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
everything that we've done for them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So from like production and all of that, and then that goes into your store,
Yep.
right? So can you tell me a
Yes.
little bit about a lot of it about the store?
The store was crazy. We opened a store during the second COVID shutdown. We opened a physical store where people come in and touch our products during the COVID shutdown. Just because we saw the ukulele flourishing, you know, in that time. Crazy time in the world, terrible time for a lot of people, and a lot of them turned to ukulele. And so we opened the store at Windward Mall first in 2020. And it was purely ukulele. All we had was ukuleles and things for ukulele. And it was great. Kapena opened their school of music next door, teaching ukulele. So their students get, you know, they get like a discount card when they're active students, and there's a great synergy there. And then in, was it 2022? We opened the Ala Moana store. And that was great. That was great. But as we were getting into this lean thinking more, when it came time to renew, it wasn't lean.
Can't imagine the overhead, man, with that Ala Moana store.
Don't get me wrong, the overhead was high, but it had the customer base to support it. I mean, on a Saturday, we'd have 200-300 people a day in there. So overhead was high for sure. It just was far. A lot of driving, a lot of waste, a lot of theft, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, just based on our location too, kind of right by the parking lot. Great experience.
I never thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah, great experience. We had a lot of time, a good time. We learned a lot. I think we grew our brand exponentially just by being there. And earlier this year in 2025, when it came time to renew, you know, we thought, okay, we can continue to operate 2 ukulele stores, or we can consolidate back to our home base and expand beyond ukulele, because we had just begun to expand our own building of guitars in 2024. So having guitar with the ukulele in the store began to make sense. So April of 2025, so just about 6 months, we expanded to a full stringed instrument music store. So ukulele, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, bass, and all the accessories and amplifiers that can go along with it. We even have an upright bass.
Electric or
double bass, yeah.
the one that I saw at
Kikihula?
Kikihula?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Reaching new clientele again, supporting the community. On the windward side, there's no music stores. They all either got to go into Pearl City or Honolulu just to get strings, capos, cables. So supporting the community in that way, creating a hub. Kids are coming in from Castle, from all the schools who they want to be the next Kolohe Kai, and they want to be high school friends that start a band. They'll come in after school and they'll play, they'll practice in there. It's a safe space for them. And just offering all of these new things. We're learning a lot. I'm learning a lot with electric guitar specifically. So now I'm poking Kahiao to maybe make some electric guitars here at Kanileʻa. He loves electric guitar. He'll tell you. You just go look at his collection. It's 90% electric.
The only thing we haven't done yet is hear your beautiful instruments. You guys willing to play something? Because I see all Kanileʻa models, and maybe you can speak about maybe a couple of them as far as the design. And
I think, in this case, we have our platinum, which is always kind of like
that's like the
best for the year. Where all of our innovations make its way to an ukulele, right? And in this case, like the one that Kaimana is grabbing now, that was a collaborative platinum. And the inlay work was really Kaimana and I literally sitting at the computer, going through the design. And the whole concept of the design was tying us back to our kupuna. And so it's basically our moku auhau. It's our genealogy that's there on the ukulele. And starting from the beginning of time, depending upon your beliefs and where you're from, the foundation that you come from, these generations, as they come, they always are looking at ways to help, to improve for the next generation. There's teaching, there's the mana'o, there's the concepts that they've learned, and in that Hawaiian way where, it's not just practiced, it's like perfected. Right? Through generations. So all of the generations and all of the work through those generations and the knowledge being passed on to each generation. Here's Kaimana and I collaborating on this ukulele, leading all the way to the la, our future. And, the future of our lahui, or the future of our ohana. So those concepts, bringing it all together and then doing something that's unique to Kanileʻa. In this case, all of the inlay is out of sand. If you ask a Hawaiian, where are you from? Ku'o Nehana, where's your sands of your birth, right? And in this case, Kailua, being Kristen and I, and Kaimana, until we moved to Kaneohe in '98, we all grew up in Kailua. So getting Kailua beach sand, using that as the medium to do our inlay work. And the fine sand that Kailua offers, that real powdery, soft, fine sand, allows us to get details that we just cannot get with mother of pearl or abalone or some of the other material that we commonly use in ukulele/guitar. But bringing all of those concepts and then onto the ukulele, and bringing some of the woods that are not necessarily commonly found on ukulele. In this case, using kolohala, which is a pheasant wood, as some of the finer inlay works, the bevel cutaway, the armrests, the things that we were doing at that time, which then led to, our next year platinum, which actually is kind of right behind me.
Well, this was also the first off-centered sound hole
Oh, that's right.
that we
brother.
ever did.
Yeah.
So every year there's a different platinum then.
Every year there's a different platinum
For the past 10 years.
for the past 10 years. Yep.
So if I wanted a 2023 platinum, I wouldn't be able to get one. It's only made that particular year then.
Yes, yes.
And,
that's
in a,
kinda cool.
and in a limited quantity.
in a limited
The
quantity.
2023 was limited to 50, and all 50 were taken by about May.
And, you know, nobody blings out an ukulele, especially with diamonds. But then Kaimana's like, how do we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the platinum? There's
right.
the 10th anniversary is diamonds,
Beautiful,
right?
beautiful, beautiful.
You know, and then one of the hardest parts, interestingly, of this instrument, although it's beautiful, it sounds beautiful, it plays beautiful, everything, one of the most trickiest parts of the instrument, oddly, was what if we want to install a pickup? Oh my goodness, we don't have a conventional sound hole like we do on other instruments, which led to dun dun dun, the trap door, you know, where we have access to the inside of the instrument through the back of the instrument so that we can install a pickup, install, you know, the strap buttons, the things that we need to like accessorize and or, you know, take care of things on the inside and access the inside of the instrument.
Put in a battery. Or
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
all the electronic stuff.
All the electronic stuff, right? Where we
Because
always-
guitars have that.
Yeah.
See, now we're going to look at all your platinums. Go, what's,
Hey, what
what's
is
that
that
sound?
one
That's
have?
the only one.
This is
Oh,
the one.
because
yeah.
there's no
there's no
traditional sound hole.
sound hole, right? Whether in the middle or to the side. So it's actually like hoa leaves that ended up becoming the. And this was Kahiao, you know, a collaboration again between Kaimana, Kahiao. What is possible? What can we do? And then, you know, that being now the steps that we're taking forward, where we're really focused on guitar and what we've done in the guitar world by offering a guitar that pretty much is our ukulele, you know, bringing the innovations that we found on ukulele, our bracing, our feel, the sound, the playability, the things that make a kanileʻa,
Thing.
right? And then that all started, you know, the concept was true, TRU, total resonating ukulele, and the true innovations at this point that we do on our instrument that are totally unique to Kanileʻa, but the bracing, right?
It goes like this.
And how it's shaped. You know, beyond, for years we had the pukas in our bracing. Now, of course, it's triangles. But it's all about this strength to weight ratio that we have as a builder to then create an instrument that, one, is resonant, and two, of course, functions, right? We want it to be playable, feel like ultimately, you know, in the player's hands. And those are all things that we see as what's going to benefit our customer, right? What's going to benefit the player, the end user. So, you know, doing a true bevel, this cutaway feature, right? Or creating an armrest, which then makes it comfortable, right? And then Kahiao coming from ukulele player to guitar player to say, hey, on an electric guitar, they shape the soundboard of the electric guitar to then feel comfortable. So that led us to our true relief and basically taking the soundboard and putting a 15-degree angle into the
I
soundboard
see that.
so that it tucks right into the player's hands when they play. You know, and those
that
are
one
like,
has the relief.
yeah, this one has
Try
the
that one.
relief. You can kind of see, right?
Oh, I see it right here, right
Yeah,
there.
where that's Kahiao saying, can we do
So
it?
you don't need the.
Yeah, you don't need the beveled edge.
Yeah,
You got
the
the whole.
armrest
The
is-
body just melts away.
Right.
Okay, so Joe, what's a song that we're going to perform?
Well, it was a song that we shared when we traveled abroad, and we do today, and it's a beautiful mele, you know, written by Dennis Kamakahi. And when Uncle Dennis wrote the mele, he was sharing from his heart. And this is a mele that speaks to our hearts today that we still share. And the title is Puohone.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you guys. Thank you, Ohana. Well, that was so beautiful, you guys. I appreciate you guys being here today, and sharing the Kanileʻa way, the Kanileʻa story. You know, I love that, by the way. What do you want to tell the people 100 years now about Kanileʻa?
I think the biggest prayer that could be answered for us, 100 years from now, is that our future says mahalo. Mahalo to our kupuna who had a vision and was able to take the risks where risks needed to be taken, was able to navigate through challenging times, was able to create something that will last for all eternity, really. And seeing the things that we faced today that really in the future may be manini, small kind challenges. And we see those challenges or those little accomplishments that we're able to achieve to then really be the foundation for something that was so much more that they could even imagine 100 years from now. And like Kaimana pointed out on how, we're focusing on guitars and yes, but we're also not forgetting about ukulele and looking forward to how the ukulele can bring so much impact to so many people's lives across the world. If the whole world were ukulele players, this world would be a a much better place.
Oh, everyone should play ukulele.
Everyone needs to play ukulele.
No, for real.
Yeah, yeah.
For real.
And if we could see that as our future, meaning 100 years from now, everybody is playing ukulele, and we have builders who are pushing the envelope then, 100 years from now, who are still continuing on the mission of being able to bring joy to people's lives in the work that you do every single day.
Yes.
That would be the prayer.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, mahalo again for hanging out.
Oh,
and
mahalo for having us.
Reconnecting and connecting even more so.
Yeah.
So on behalf of the Hawaiian Music Archives, akuli ana to our kupuna and our keiki.
Mahalo, Adam.
Mahalo, Adam. We just want to mahalo all of you for being part of this, and stay tuned for more from ʻŌlelo TV. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.